Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on moving to the U.S. We have our relocation advisors here to answer some common questions and share some tips to help you prepare for your move. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. And before we begin, I'll hand it over to our presenters to introduce themselves.
Thanks, Allie. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on which part of the world you guys are watching. My name is Veg. I'm the Director of Licensure and Relocation for Worldwide, and I also have our Director, Stephanie.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so we put together some pointers or to as introduced by Ali. These are the common questions that we usually get from our candidates before and after once they arrive in the United States. So this is in no way a comprehensive list. So you have access to our chat. So please feel free to ask any questions that we might not be able to cover, but we will do our best to answer all of your questions. I think we can go ahead and get started and moving on to the first slide. This is about, social security card and green card, which is, I'm going to have to say, the number one questions our candidates would ask us. When will they receive their social security card and green card? Okay. So typically, social security cards are being delivered to our Charlotte office within 3 weeks upon your arrival to the US. Unfortunately, this is not something that we can track online. And one more thing that I wanted to add to this answer is that it the timeline would also depend on which visa type that you have, right? So depending on your visa type, the timelines may be different, but in general, between 1 to 3 weeks, your social security card will be delivered to our office. We'll send you a copy of it within 24 hours, and then we'll also mail you a hard copy as soon as you provide us with the address where you want your social security card to be delivered. Okay. Similarly, your green card, we typically get it between 3 to 6 months upon your arrival to the US. So same manner as how we mail our candidate social security card. We scan a copy, we send you a digital one, and then we're gonna ask you for the address where you want your green card to be mailed. So in comparison to social security card, which just cannot be tracked online, for green cards we have a website, USCIS website, wherein you can track the status and the delivery of your green card. I hope that those are helpful information.
Next slide. So, another important question that we get asked is about the employment start date and when will I start working? Well, it really is client specific. Most nurses or RNs will begin working after they receive their Social Security card and their nurse licensure. So, we work really closely with you, our relocation specialists, to ensure that you receive your Social Security card in a timely manner, as well as work with the licensure department worldwide to make sure that you have both of those things so you can onboard quickly. Best practice. So, just like Veg said, you will probably not get your Social Security card until 3 weeks post arrival. This is really important. So, you understand that we have a few clients. I don't think we have any clients that will onboard at this point without a Social Security card. So, just be aware this is so important that you may not be able to start work until 3 weeks post arrival.
If I may also just add to that, Stephanie, thank you. This is a very good best practice, if you will. A couple of things that I wanna point out is that one, you need to start saving money as early as
Mhm.
possible because of that specific reason that you're not going to be able to start working upon your arrival to the US. And second, Please make sure that you already completed all your licensure requirements, at least those that you can complete prior to you arriving to the US. I understand most of the boards, if not all, will also require you to submit your social security card before they can issue your RN licenses. But at least that's the only thing that you're gonna have to wait until the issuance of your license when you arrive to the US.
Well, they said that they couldn't find that.
Next slide, Ellie.
Okay, next question is about airport pickup. Will someone pick me up from the airport? Okay, so different employers will have different parameters or packages on how they are assisting their candidates. We have
You
employers
got a better
who
answer than me,
arrange
but
pick
I sent them
who can
yesterday.
bring them
I
who
never
can bring
heard
our
back about
candidates
my
directly. Ali, I'm not
individual
sure if you're hearing that background noise. I'm
as
not sure where that is coming
a
from.
user. Uh, but I sent them the invoice and they
Repeat that, Badge.
have that. And they quote unquote initial request.
I think some background noise is coming from
Evidently,
Stephanie's
they're
side.
having CS problems on their side.
So I'll just mute her for one second.
Email
Okay. There you go. Thank you. All right. So as I was saying, so different employers will have different arrangement in terms of picking up arriving nurses. We have employers who arrange initial transportation, pick them up from the airport, going to their temporary housing. There are some who also provide a different service that will do the same. But we also have some employers who welcome the candidates on their own, right? But if in case your employer will not provide you an airport pickup or initial transportation worldwide, we do provide Uber vouchers or Uber ride vouchers that you can use to book an Uber from the airport going to your hotel or temporary housing where you're going to be staying upon your arrival to the US. In addition to that, we also provide Uber Eats voucher so that we wanted your first meal to be coming from worldwide. So that is something that we send even before candidates travel, so that once they arrive in the US, they just have to download the app and they can order food using the vouchers that we are sending.
The next question we get is opening a US bank account. And how do I open a US bank account? Well, we have a partner with Advanced Federal Credit Union, which works hand in hand with us. And you can actually start your application 15 days prior to arrival. You do not need a social security card. The requirements are only a proof of status letter, which we can give you, your relocation specialist, your copy of your visa, and your passport. And you can see the link there where you can actually go. You can do that now if you'd like to, just to talk with a representative to get some ideas about how easy it is to open up a US bank account. It only costs $5 in order to open up the account. And, again, in the US, you can open up more than one bank account. So I would recommend you getting a bank account just so you have access to a US bank. But then if you prefer, you can get another bank account, once you get your social security card and other credentials that you'll need to open up one when you're here in the United States.
And one of the reasons why we are encouraging our candidates to open up a bank account in Advanced is that they are not going to require you to submit your social security card. So meaning even if you don't have social security card, even before you leave your home country, you can already apply for a bank account. And there's also they're also offering, one application that you can, use to apply for a savings account, for a checking account, and a credit card account. No need to have three separate applications, just one, and that will all do that will allow you to have those three types of banking accounts. Okay. Why it is important, why we encourage our nurses or candidates to apply for a bank account as soon as possible, because that is how we're going to pay your reimbursements. Okay. So the timeline will vary from one employer to another, but typically we start the reimbursement process upon your start date. So we're going to be sending you your reimbursement form. You have to submit it to your facility administrator or someone from your HR department who can sign and indicate the exact date that they start working. So as soon as we receive all the receipts, all the documents, your reimbursement forms, so that's, you just have to count roughly between 4 to 5 business days. But you have to take into consideration the clearing time of your bank. So, but generally, your reimbursement should be reflecting on your account within 4 to 5 business
I
days.
think
Again,
it's
it's 4 to 5, not 45.
because unless we hear something in the next uh, by Friday.
So moving on to housing. Obviously, housing is really important. So we've gone over, Social Security cards, getting your banking. Housing is one of the top issues that we see. And will someone help me find an apartment? Yes, our relocation advisor will provide, resources based on where you're located. Candidates, though, and I want to emphasize this, is that you are driving the process in terms of applying. We can help call apartments. We can actually connect you with other candidates who may have previously arrived and be at other apartments. We can suggest these things for you. At the same time, you're going to be driving that process. Will my employer pay for my housing? Well, temporary housing, if you look in your contract, this is important. Usually, allowance is provided, and the amount provided is based on the client. Now, that usually is not in the job offer. So you have to work with your relocation advisor to understand what the amount is provided. We highly, highly, highly suggest that you get temporary housing up to 30 days, because as we told you previously with the Social Security card, it takes 3 weeks for it to arrive. And we don't want you to have to be struggling trying to find housing without having a Social Security card. You want to be in the temporary housing for that amount of time so you can actually acclimate to where you're living. So please, 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 when you are assigned your relocation advisor, talk about these specific details. They should be talking with you in regards to that, but at the same time, bring your questions because these are important things for you to ask. Veg, any comment on that?
I completely agree.
Mm.
Your relocation advisor are experts on these things because they've been doing this for years already. But at the end of the day, we wanted you to make that kind of decision. This is a life-changing decision, finding a house where it's safe. We can provide recommendations, but to Stephanie's point, you guys will be the ones making the final decision. We can only provide you options, right? But the final decision is still going to be you, depending on your needs, depending on how big your house, how many rooms do you need, and all that stuff. But we will assist you along the way so that you can make an informed decision.
Okay, and then now we'll go into our Q&A. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We also have Tyson here, who is a recruiter. So if you have any recruiting specific questions, he can answer those. So for the first question, I do see, why are some employers giving a sign-on bonus and others are not?
Yeah, so that's a great question, actually, I can cover. So each employer's offer has a different package, which is why it's very important to review the contract before signing. Because the cost of immigration process is different among different places for employers and stuff like that. The employer is covering all that for you. It is common that most employers don't have a sign-on bonus. Some do, some don't. It just depends. With the current immigration timelines, we encourage you that you save up prior to your arrival to the U.S. To help prepare for your life in the U.S.
Perfect. And we have some people watching from Jamaica and Nigeria, Saudi Arabia. So just wanted to welcome you guys. Next question. Do you hire social workers?
So we currently do not hire social workers. At this time, it is mainly just registered nurse applicants that our employers are hiring for. So if you were to go into a nursing position and get your NCLEX, you're more than welcome to apply online. We're happy to assist.
And the next one is about a specific client, and if they pick up from the airport and provide any accommodation on arrival, who should they reach out to for their specific questions?
Yeah, Prince. So that
Ali?
that question would be really good for your relocation coordinator when you are assigned one.
Or if you don't have any assigned relocation advisor yet, you can send an email to relocation@healthstaff.org.
Perfect. And let's see. When an employee reaches the US, when will they join or when will they start work? What's usually the time frame? I think we covered that in one of the slides.
Okay, so yes, the answer to that question varies on a lot of factors. First is if you already have your social security card and you have the license for that particular state that you're gonna be assigned to. So as soon as you have those two credentials, that is when the employer will reach out, and typically they provide an onboarding date or start date within 2 weeks time frame.
And so after 30 days, can you continue to stay and make payments? I'm assuming this is for their housing.
Stephanie, do you want to take that?
So, just so I understand the question, you're making payments. So, what happens is that you have a relocation package that you have a certain amount allotted that you can use for temporary housing. And it really is client specific based on their guidelines as to what can be used for temporary housing, whether or not if you don't choose not to use a certain amount, that can be allotted back to you. It really can. I don't want to get in the weeds, but this is something that your expert relocation advisor is someone who's going to be able to guide you on your specific question.
And does your agency hire RNs without IELTS?
Yeah, so I could take that one. So it really depends on which employer you're going to be hired with, especially their state requirements for license endorsement and things like that. There are some states that don't require any English exam, just a visa screen, which you'll still take an English exam, which opens up all the options for you: IELTS, PTE, MET, OET, TOEFL. But yes, again, it's really just going to be dependent upon which state and which employer you sign an offer with. So I'd encourage you to apply online if you haven't already, and begin working with a recruiter, and they can help you.
And what about nurses who don't have any bedside experience but have passed the NCLEX?
Yes, so I would still highly encourage you to apply online. We're taking all nurses right now, whether you do have experience or don't have experience. We'll take your resume, keep it on file. At this time, our employers for interview do require that you are working at the bedside. Typically, if you're wanting to work in a hospital position, we do require that you're currently working in a similar unit of an inpatient hospital position. So if you aren't working at the bedside, please still apply. We'll have you assigned to a recruiter. That recruiter will reach out to you, and then just update us again when you can go back to that bedside and start gaining current experience again.
And Angelo asks, I'm hired already, but still not current with the visa bulletin. Just wanted to ask, I'm an ICU nurse and plan to pursue CCRN exam while still working at bedside ICU. Just want to know if in case I pass the exam, does it change the offer?
I think this would be a very good question for your case manager. They're going to have a little bit more details around requirements and whether or not that would change your signed offer. So that's something I would direct to your case manager.
And let's see. This one is asking what specific reimbursement is made by Worldwide.
This is going to be, again, dependent on your employer. I do know that most employers on their offers, they do say that they reimburse for your visa screen and as well as your medical exam. Other reimbursements might be on there as well, just depends on employer.
And that's something that you can ask your case manager as well as your relocation specialist. So you're informed. I would like to add, again, going back to how long it takes for the Social Security card to arrive, please save money because you're not going to be able to onboard until you have your Social Security card as well as your licensure. I wanted to re-emphasize that. Don't depend on your reimbursement to come in because usually that doesn't apply until after you start. Veg.
That's correct. And we cannot emphasize this enough. Yes, you will get reimbursements, you will get relocation allowances, but taking into consideration all the expenses that you should anticipate when you arrive to the US, you're gonna have to apply for an apartment. Sometimes you have to buy new furnitures, and not to mention all the basic necessities. The reimbursement, total reimbursement or relocation package may not always gonna be enough while you're waiting to earn your first paycheck.
And we do have a question about that they're waiting for their final facility from their employer. So I would just advise them to reach out to their case manager for that information because it is very case specific. This question is, do we need to update our CV every 6 months?
Yes, I would say yes. That would be something you would send in to your case manager. It's just very important that we have all the updated information, because jobs change, things change. Your case manager just really wants to make sure that you're still staying within the bounds of what your employer would like you to be doing while you are waiting in that immigration process. Typically still working full-time as a nurse at the bedside in the unit that you're assigned to in the U.S.
And can nurses be issued Social Security cards before leaving their jobs at home?
Let me make sure I understand the question. So will they be able to get their social security card before arrival to the US?
Yes.
If that's the question, the quick answer to that is no, because their social security application will be triggered upon their arrival to the US.
And let's see, do you require current bedside?
Yes. Following up, like we mentioned before, we are currently requiring bedside in order to interview. That is a requirement set by our employers.
Let's see, any other questions? One moment. If you do have questions about pay, go ahead and reach out to your case manager for those. Let's see. My wife just completed her 1-year national service after her associate diploma in registered general nursing. She's waiting for her license. Can she apply?
I would encourage everybody to apply, no matter what position you're in. It's always good to have your resume in our system and be assigned to a recruiter. That way, that recruiter can personally assess your individual concerns and your requirements and things like that that you have, and that way we can make sure we do the best for you.
And how long does it take to complete the process of getting a job and coming to the US? What's the general timeline?
So getting a job, it's just going to be very dependent on, I'd say, unit, and then also how open you are to your state preferences. Sometimes nurses are very particular or keen on one state, and sometimes that state's just not hiring at that time, so it might be a longer wait. But if you keep an open mind to other locations, we have great employers all around the US, then the interview process can be pretty quick. It depends again on unit. For example, med-surg opportunities, they're very common, whereas more specialized individual units like pediatrics, NICU, sometimes even OR, those are going to be a little less common. And so you're going to really want to work with your recruiter on getting through that process. But once you've signed an offer with an employer, we're saying with retrogression right now, on average, it's taking about 18 to 24 months to arrive to the US.
Perfect. And does Worldwide have an assistant, or can I get some help when I buy a car there?
Yes, you can get help. We have a partnership with International Auto Source. So they're the ones who are helping our candidates for car loans so that they have a means of transportation, because in the US, you guys probably know already that not in all states public transportation is readily available. So yes, we partner with International Auto Source. A couple of good things that I can say about this company is that first, they're not going to ask for your credit score because you don't have any upon your arrival yet. They're not going to require you for a social security card, and they provide you with market direct to factory car price, and they have a um wide brand of cars that you can select from. So yes, we can help you guys out on that.
And just to add really quickly, you need to start that process before you arrive in the United States. Talk to your relocation advisor to get connected with International Auto Source, because their rates are better before you arrive in the United States. Because once you arrive in the United States, your rates may increase just because once you arrive, you're now here and a credit score may apply. So that's really important to understand. Talk to your relocation advisor.
And we'll do a couple more questions. Is this for all hospital settings only? How about aged care facilities and other assisted living facilities?
I would say, again, it's very individual based. So I would encourage you again to apply online if you haven't already, meet with a recruiter, because we do have some wonderful long-term care facility employers that are hiring in different states and locations. And so they are always looking for people who have experience in long-term care, assisted living, and things like that, as long as you're a registered nurse.
And do you offer H-1B visas?
So that's very dependent on employer. At this time, I don't believe we have any H-1B visa opportunities available, or any employers currently offering H-1B. But if you are very interested in H-1B, I would still apply. We have some great H-1B specialist recruiters that can get connected with you. You will want to have a visa screen completed before you interview for an H-1B opportunity if they ever do come up again in the future. But I would just apply online and speak with one of our specialists.
Perfect. And those are all the questions that we have today. I did drop the link to connect to our recruiters. So go ahead and do that if you have any other questions, or reach out to your case manager if they are case specific. And remember to connect with us on Facebook, on YouTube, where we post all of our webinars, and visit our website if you do want to apply. And we also have a referred nurse program. If you know a nurse with NCLEX and you refer them over to us and their petition is filed, you can earn up to $250. So I will also drop that link as well. And any closing remarks from anybody?
Save money.
Yes, yes,
Save
'cause
money before you travel. I mean, earlier we talked about how long is the process for once they sign up the offer until you have plenty of time. Again, it's not it's better to be prepared. If you have other questions that we're not able to cover, you can send us an email at relocation@healthstaff.org. If you want to know, if you want to know more about, specific relocation package, if you already have an offer, first thing that you need to do is to really review the offer letter that you signed, your contract. If there are other questions, shoot us an email. We'll be glad to answer all of those questions for you. Thank you all for joining this webinar.
Thank you.